Did you have a bad start to the new FPL season? Do you have any players in your FPL team that you really want to sell? Watch this video till the end to find the best players to target for Game Week 3. Starting with the first player to target for Game Week 3, guys, it's Marc Cucurella from Chelsea. Now we know that he started the game over Chilwell against Tottenham. In fact, he played really well. He was on set pieces. We know that he's a much better defender than Chilwell as well, guys. Now I know that this particular transfer or this particular player might be a short-term move because he is expected to share minutes with Chilwell, guys. But from whatever we've seen so far, from whatever we've heard from Tuchel, there would be chances, there are high chances that Cucurella starts the first few games and Chilwell probably comes as a substitute. Now the issue with this move is that yes, there could be some rotation. Let's say when Chilwell is fit, he might start over Cucurella. So in the short term, yes, it's looking like an appealing move. But again, when Chilwell returns, it might not be the best scenario. Considering that fact, guys, I still believe that Chelsea can keep clean sheets in the upcoming games. We know that Cucurella is on set pieces, so there is creativity there is assist potential, and there are high chances that he gets attacking returns as well as those clean sheet points. If you're looking at an option, let's say for example, if you want to choose between one of James and Cucurella, guys, considering that Cucurella is cheaper, you'll probably end up saving some money. I still feel James is the much better pick to go for. He's definitely the standout pick in that Chelsea defense. So if you're going for one Chelsea defender, it is still James. But let's say if you want to double up on the Chelsea defense, guys, I think he's the option to go for. I think you will end up saving that 1 million, and that should help you make other upgrades in significant areas of the pitch. So I think if you want to double up on that Chelsea defense, I think Cucurella is definitely the one to go for. At least in the short term, he's looking like a great option. You will get clean sheets, you will get attacking returns, and let's move on to the next one. Coming to the next player to target, guys, we have Kyle Walker from Man City. Now, another defender in that 5 million defender category, guys. He's also a great option considering that he's playing for Man City. So, one thing is pretty much guaranteed that he's gonna get a lot of clean sheets. City look like a really good defense at the moment. I think they can get a lot of clean sheets. So, Kyle Walker definitely will get those clean sheet points. He's also a pretty much nailed option at the moment, at least till the time they don't have a proper signing or they don't have a proper player taking the place of Walker, guys. I think Walker is going to start most games. So this is definitely one thing to watch until the transfer window ends, because there could be somebody who can replace Walker. But at the moment, I feel that Walker is going to start most games. There is no attacking threat, to be honest, from the Walker. We know that he's also playing as an inverted wingback, so he's also playing in the midfield. So there possibly could be chances where he creates a few chances, maybe gets an assist or two. But right now, so far, we've not seen anything like that happening with Kyle Walker. He doesn't really have any goal threat. He doesn't take any shots in the box. He's not even playing in very highly advanced positions. So you might not get attacking returns, but if you want a cheaper option, if you're not confident in terms of which third Man City player to go for, considering that you already have a Cancelo and a Haaland, guys, I think defense is a decent way to start off with. You can double up on the defense with a Walker and a Cancelo, and I think that will give you a lot of clean sheet points. Man City has decent fixtures. There are definite clean sheets in there. So if you're looking at a 5 million option only from a clean sheet perspective, he might be slightly better than Cucurella as well, guys. But I still feel Cucurella is the better option to go for. There is more attacking potential there. There are more chances of getting attacking returns. Considering this fact, guys, there's also a chance that Cucurella might get more bonus points than Walker, because Walker's probably not going to be heavily involved. And I think most of those bonus points probably would go to a Cancelo, for example. So I think if you're looking at a 5 million option, yes, Walker is also an option if you trust that Man City defense. Let's say if you don't trust the Chelsea defense to keep a lot of clean sheets, I think Walker is then the pick to go for. Also, the fact that you're probably not very confident in terms of a City midfielder at the moment, I think Walker is your answer. I think he's a great option that you should have in your thinking for Game Week 3. Coming to the next option, we have another Man City player in Ilkay Gundogan, guys. A lot of people have been hyping up, talking about the Man City mids. We've been talking about Mahrez, we've been talking about Foden. We've also kind of flirted with the idea of a Jack Grealish, for example, in our FPL teams. But the solution might be a bit different. It might be Gundogan, who's at a slightly different price point from a Man City perspective, guys. But let's say if he's pretty much nailed, let's say if we get an idea, let's say for example, Bernardo Silva leaves, I have a feeling that he's gonna be pretty much nailed in that Man City setup, guys. We know that Pep likes to play with a runner in midfield, and we all know that Gundogan is probably the best to make those late runs and get a goal or two get maybe an assist as well. So there are chances of attacking returns. There is still a slight worry in terms of how many minutes is he gonna get. Considering that Bernardo Silva maybe stays at Man City, then it might be a bit tricky. But for now, guys, he's definitely one to watch out for. We know that he can get those massive FPL hauls. His numbers are pretty much decent. I mean, he's also maybe a bit more predictable in terms of his minutes on the field. And there are chances that you might just about get it right with Gundogan, guys. It's still a bit tricky because Foden or maybe a Mahrez, maybe even a Grealish possibly could have higher returns. But I think this is definitely one to monitor, guys. If Bernardo Silva leaves, I think he's a great option to go for. Man City have great attacking fixtures, and if you want to get a Man City attacker, it's just that we're still not sure which one to go for. I mean, there are still chances because of the 5 substitution rule that all of these midfielders do not get enough minutes. Maybe they're substituted around the 60th or maybe the 70th minute mark, and that might be a bit challenging, guys. But we know Man City, we know their attacking potential. Even if a midfielder plays for about 60 minutes, there is a high chance that a Man City mid can get a lot of FPL points. So he's definitely one to monitor and probably see his minutes, probably keep a close eye on the Bernardo Silva news, because if he leaves Man City, I think Gundogan is really a great option and he should probably be in your thinking for Game Week 3 and beyond. Now coming to a huge dilemma, and I know a lot of people are facing this dilemma, guys. A lot of people, a lot of managers like me, they are looking for replacements for a Neto and a Bailey. And guys, we've got about 3 options, just about 3 options to go for, who could be possible replacements for specifically a Bailey if you want to take him out of your FPL team. Now, there are different price points, so depending on the budget, you can probably choose the best particular option. And we'll start with Rodrigo, guys. If you have the money, if you have some slight extra money that you can make an upgrade from a Bailey to a 6-odd million midfielder, I think, guys, Rodrigo is definitely the one to go for. I know a lot of people might argue that it's possibly not the best time to get in a Rodrigo, considering that Leeds are facing Chelsea, guys. Yes, Game Week 3 might be a bit tricky, but if you're looking at a slightly long-term picture, I think Rodrigo can be really, really good. He's playing a lot more attacking for Leeds. He's in advanced positions. He's almost playing like a striker, and that is probably what you want from a budget midfielder playing out of position. So there are chances that he will get a lot of goals. I mean, he has significant goal threat as compared to maybe his assist potential, and I think that will of course give him more points, give him more bonus points as well. So I think he's a great option to go for. Considering the injury to Bamford, guys, it might not be very long term, but at least in the short term he could also be on penalties. I think he's possibly just going to play the striker. He will be taking a lot more shots. So if you have the money, if you are looking for a Bailey replacement and you can stretch up to a Rodrigo, guys, I think he's the one to go for. You should definitely get him in your team. Of course, you can still argue that maybe you're not against Chelsea, but if you're playing the longer game, he's the one to go for. Now, in case if you are not very convinced with Leeds, or maybe you are worried about that Chelsea game, you can also possibly go for a Pascal Gross, guys, from Brighton. I mean, who would have thought that we will be talking about Brighton midfielders, Brighton attackers, but he has come out, he's emerged as an FPL option. You can go for him. Brighton have looked really good in attack. They're creating a lot of shots. They are creating a lot of chances, in fact. And I think Pascal Gross will be getting on the end of those shots. I think he will be taking a lot of shots. There is a high goal threat when we talk about a Gross, for example, guys. And I think if you're looking at a Brighton attacker, he's definitely the one to go for. We pretty much show that he's nailed in that Brighton setup. We know that he can get goals. He can get those big FPL hauls. So if you're looking at short-term returns, as well as maybe you think that Gross is probably gonna outscore Rodrigo, which could be quite close, to be very honest. I personally don't think it's gonna be very different in terms of FPL output, FPL returns between a Rodrigo and a Gross in the next 3 or 4 game weeks, guys. And I think if you are not very confident about that Chelsea game, you probably go for Pascal Gross. I think Brighton are going to do well, guys. And along with Brighton, Gross is also a good option. So let's say if you don't even have that much money, right? If you only have about 5.5, 5.6 million, maybe somewhere around 6 million, and you want to keep some money in the bank, I think Pascal Gross is a great option. Now, if you don't have that much money as well, guys, I think there's also an option that has emerged. I know a lot of people were talking about Da Silva, and yes, he could still be a very cheap option if you want to save a lot of money. Maybe you don't plan to play Da Silva for most games, then I think he's probably in the conversation. But if you want a starter, maybe if you want a player that you'd probably end up playing for most weeks, I think Matthias Jensen is also a great option, guys. Brentford have great fixtures, guys. Yes, I mean, there could be some bias considering that they played against a very weak Man United team, a very out of form Man United team. So we can only take so much from that game. but I still feel I think Jensen is probably going to tick along well in that 5 million price bracket. I think he's going to be equal in terms of his goal threat and creativity. It's still very early to call that out, guys. But I think he's a great option at 5 million. So if you don't have enough money, if you don't have a 6 million budget, maybe a 5.5 million budget, 5.6 in fact, in this case for Kroos, I think Matthias Jensen is a decent option to go for. Now, there are chances that he might share minutes with somebody like a Damsgaard, for example, guys. But I still feel it's probably going to be between Da Silva and Damsgaard for that particular position. Now, we know that Brentford play two different systems. They play a 4-3-3. They also play a 5-3-2. But whatever the system is, I think he's always going to play in that right center position. And he will get attacking returns, guys. He will try to link up a lot of the plays. He will be in attacking position, so he can score goals. He will at least get those chances. And I think if you want a very cheap option, who probably would start for most weeks, at least in the next few games. And if you don't have that money, guys, I think Matthias Jensen is the one to go for. So these are my options for a Bailey replacement, guys. What players are you thinking? Are you planning to get in Da Silva? Are you planning to get in a different player? Do let me know in the comments below. Now that'll be all from my side today for this video, guys. Do let me know what players are on your watch list. Are there certain players that we have missed? Do let me know in the comments below. If you like what you saw today, guys, please hit the like button. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more FPL content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in Saners next time.